Good evening. Thank you for coming to Connecting with Your Angels. Tonight I want to just start with a little quote. Tolerance is not small courage. Tolerance is very divine, and only divine people have it. It takes more courage to tolerate than to attack. And that is a quote from the Yogi Bhajan, who was the person who actually brought yoga from India to the Western world. Okay, and we will do a little meditation later, so I'll put that down. I think it's important that I introduce myself to you and let you know why I'm doing a class on angels. When I was a little girl, I was fascinated by this picture that my grandmother had in her hallway. And it was that picture of the guardian angel leaning over, and these two little children are on the bridge and they're falling, you know, like this, they're leaning, and the guardian angel is loving them. And they're safe. And I used to sit and stare at this picture. I loved this picture. And I used to have a lot of friends that other people couldn't really see. And I never felt like they were imaginary friends. It was never imaginary. I never felt alone or lonely, although I was alone most of the time when I was a little kid. I had an older brother and sister, but they were off doing their own thing, and I was the little kid. And I spent a lot of time with my grandmother, who was a very spiritual woman. And she was an old hill woman, more in touch with things in nature than city people tend to be, I guess. And pretty old-fashioned in a lot of ways, and I spent a lot of time with her. And she had these friends that I would go and visit with her all over. And she had this one friend that was like the coolest person ever. Oh my God, I loved this woman. She had long hair, but she kind of wore it up in this messy bun, so it was always kind of crooked and hanging funky. And she wore big silk kimonos, and her house smelled like incense. And I just loved this woman. And she did tarot cards and tea leaves and all kinds of interesting stuff, you know. And she was a friend of my grandmother's. And one day when I was about 14 years old, I was hanging out there with Rose. Her name was Reverend Rose Figueroa. And she started teaching a class on how to read auras, okay? Which an aura is only the energy around your body. We run on an electrical energy system in our bodies. The entire universe runs on energy. When the great divine creator made life, the scripture tells us God breathed life into existence. That energy came out, and we all have that energy within us. You feel it all the time. Just like the wind blows and you don't see it, but you know it's there and you feel it. You know, you can tell when somebody with an awful spirit walks in the room and you cringe and you don't like them, but you can tell when you meet somebody for the first time and they're going to be your best friend. Okay? Like Connie and I, the first time we met at this door, we hugged immediately. And so I was at this class, and Rose asked me to stand up in front of a board somewhat like this, and we had the lights kind of dimmed, and she had a group of people, and they were reading auras and things like that. And they all started saying things about my aura being green. Now, green is a healing color. And Rose said to me, one day you will be a healer. And you have a great psychic energy about you. And you will use that energy as a healer. Okay, now I'm 14 years old, and this is the 70s, right? So I went back to my grandmother, and I said, you won't believe what that lady said to me. I can't believe it. I don't know what she's thinking. And I told my grandmother what she said at about the evening, and she said to me, well, what do you think I was taking you there for? I've known that about you your life. You've got those angels with you. And I quickly put that aside because I thought people are going to think I am some kind of freaky weirdo. And years go by, and I find myself training as a massage therapist. And I suddenly realized one day when I was working that this is healing. And I felt it. And I knew that I'm a healer. And I had not ever planned it or intended it. I didn't realize it. And when we teach massage therapy, we teach to stand at the beginning, to focus, to breathe deeply, and to ground yourself. And to connect. It's called entrainment. you want to connect your breath to the same breath of your client and get into the relaxing flow, okay? And what I realized was that as I was doing this, and I was not a Christian at the time, I was not what I would consider a spiritual person at the time, I simply started saying, just God be with me and let your energy come through my hands. And it shocked me when I realized I was saying those words, okay? So a few years go by and I find myself a pregnant lady, not married, feeling very outcast, and my grandmother takes me to church with her. This is a short version of that story. And Grandma takes me to church with her. And in that church one day, right before Easter, I realized, and this was 35 years ago this month, I realized this is where I belong. I have been going through all these things in my life to bring me where I belong. So here I am 35 years later, having gone through a whole lot more in life, and I have been training for the last few years in how to really utilize these abilities that I feel that we all have, but we all don't know how to use them. And that's something that I've been able to work with some very great teachers, with Doreen Virtue, who is a world-renowned angel expert, Deborah King, who is considered another world-renowned angel expert, Kyle Gray from Scotland, quite a few different people that I've done some trainings with, and I've learned how to do this. And it's something that I feel everyone needs to know, is how to connect with the angels that are around them. So I'd like you all to just for a moment close your eyes. We're going to do a lot more meditation later, but if you could just close your eyes and think of what is above you, what is below you, to each side, in front, in back, to the right, to the left, all around you, in every direction you can think of, are angels. As far as you could possibly imagine to see, there are angels. They are the great divine Creator's spirit aimed at you, sending you love. And that's what we're going to learn about tonight, is how to utilize that, how to connect with that, and how to really own that ability to connect with those angels. Okay. And by the way, ask questions anytime you want. I'm going to try to write some stuff on the board. I don't know. So,
and I'm sorry, Michelle.
Yes.
We have an audience online, so if they have questions, I'm going to try to watch.
Absolutely. Thank you. And thank you for tuning in. Okay. What are angels? What do we think angels are? Well, they're the great divine spirit, but more importantly, they are messengers. And in fact, the word angel in Greek and in Hebrew means messenger. The angels are the messengers bringing God's thought, will, image, power. All of the ability of the great divine Creator comes through the messengers to the creation. And they also take our prayers to the divine Creator, to God. Okay, and I love to use the term divine Creator because when we think of God, sometimes we put God in a little box and we hold on to what God looks like and what God should be because that's what we've been told God should be. But when we think about the Creator of the universe that has made more than we could possibly ever begin to imagine, how minuscule we are and yet how much we are loved, that is just such an interesting, overwhelming feeling to know that we are loved so much. But why, if we're loved that much, do we need a messenger between us? Because the divine creation energy is at such a high vibration that humanity cannot experience it. It comes down like this. Okay? And here's humanity going wee. That's jumping. That's a jumping human. Okay? Little feet jumping. And the thing is that with this vibration and energy being at such a high vibration, our sensors, our eyes, our ears, our bodies would be overwhelmed with that vibration. It's like if we were to take rocket fuel that would send a rocket to the moon and we put it in a little Hyundai. And it's just going to overwhelm it. It's too much for it. So that's why we have these messengers that act between. So what do messengers look like? What do they look like? Does anybody have an idea of what they think an angel looks like? Yes.
I do. Well, and these are things I've heard, but I've always pictured angels, messengers as Amazon-like creatures. They look human, but they're very big.
Yes. And the thing that's so interesting to me is that they have appeared differently to every age of mankind in every part of the world. Yet, they always have that in common. They are suprahuman. Not superhuman, but supra, above. Now, something that's very interesting about angels also is that they do not have free will. Human beings have free will. God gave us a great gift that no other creature in all of creation, as we know it, possesses, and that is free will. We get to choose. Do we want to have a relationship with our Creator or not? Do we want to have a spiritual relationship of any kind or not? That's a choice we get to make every single day. Angels do not have this. Angels must love. That's all they do. That's all they have. They can, let me get another chalk here. They can be teachers. They can teach us things about ourselves that we don't know. They can be healers. And we're going to talk more about healing angels in a couple of weeks. That's one of my favorite subjects. They can be protectors. And Archangel Michael is the great protector. We're going to meet him in a little while. Okay? But the biggest thing that they do I'm writing it big. They love. They love all the time. Now, angels will not just save you from falling off the bridge. Angels will watch you take the wrong step and wish that you hadn't. And they will be there loving you through the experience of your falling and whatever happens afterwards. When we make choices in our lives that may not be the best choices for us, our angels are there with us. They may not stop what's happening because they are not allowed to stop what's happening. They must be invited in. That is our free will and our choice. The angels are with you before your birth. They're there protecting you. They're there with you from the moment that you're born. They will be with you for the rest of your days. But you must ask them in. You must welcome them in. And so tonight we're going to talk more about welcoming in. And our challenge activity for the rest of the week, because I'm giving you a challenge activity, will be about welcoming in. Okay? So, angels, yes.
But sorry, real quick. So Patty has a question. She says, so we're assigned angels.
Yes, to a certain extent, because we have our own personal guardian angel. Okay? Now, some people believe that you have more than one guardian, and that is quite possibly true. I know that I have personally met my own guardian angel, and in a couple of weeks, as this program builds a little, I will teach you how to connect with your personal guardian angel as well. And yes, so you have your own guardian. But we all share the infinite multitudes of angels around us. Good question, Patty.
I have one real quick.
Yes.
And I don't want to derail anything, but so from the time that I've been little, I don't know about anybody else's experience, but you know, I think as a way to talk about grief and death with children, we often will talk about this person as an angel now.
Yeah.
So I wonder if you could clarify for us. I think I understand that angels are a totally separate being than what we are when we cross over into
Yes.
the next life.
Yes, they are. Human spirit is contained within the vessel of the body. The vessel that we are right here, the vessel that is Ashley, is not Ashley. Ashley is contained within the vessel. So when the vessel stops, the spirit of who you are continues on. And that, when we are freed from the body, is when we are allowed to go back to divine, because now our vibration is not held in this little cup. Okay? So it's like trying to press a snow cone down. You can only go so far. You can press it down and make it hard ice and freeze it and make it really hard, but you can also let it completely evaporate and go into the air. So it is separate. Human spirit is not the same as angels, although we're taught very often that because it's easy for children to understand.
Yeah.
It's easy for us to understand. This stuff takes a leap of faith. Okay?
Thank you.
Okay, so now we've talked about what angels look like. Each one of your angels looks different because that's how you perceive them. Angels throughout history have been perceived differently. So I want you to think back and imagine I have this great PowerPoint here that I used to have for you an hour and a half ago. So imagine this. You've all seen pictures of petroglyphs from ancient Indian tribes where they show really big people. Okay, this is how they perceive the angels. The Navajo and the Hopi in the Four Corners region of this country, and mostly in Arizona, New Mexico, some of Utah and Colorado, they believe that they are star children. They have legends and stories about the star people coming down and healing them and caring for them and helping them and teaching and guiding and protecting. Okay? They are star people. We talk about in the Lakota, they have the images and the stories of the white buffalo calf woman, who is a large woman coming down from the sky on a white buffalo calf, and she is surrounded by golden light, and she brings great good fortunes. Okay? When we think about back in the Andes mountains, the Incas, they also had diagrams that people have tried to explain away as aliens. To me, those are just angels that people could not understand in any other way, and so they perceived them and expressed their perception in the way that they knew how at that time. The Assyrians, let me see if I can wipe this a little bit. We first start finding angels as we know them in the Western world in Egyptian culture about 5,000 BC. Okay, 5,000 BC, which is about 7,000 years ago. And we see images of their gods with wings. Okay? Now, in Egyptian culture, they had a system of gods, and then they had lesser gods. They had lower deities. These lower deities, many people, angel scholars will tell you that these actually were angels assisting people. We also see in the Babylonian culture around the same time, which is now known as Iraq, okay, in that area, the Sumerians, the Babylonians, all of the Mesopotamian tribal people about this time, they had images of deities with wings. They were tall, they had huge headdresses, they had the big long beards, which was common for the royalty of the day. but they also carried themselves on large wings, okay? Which is, again, a concept that we have of angels. In Assyria, about 3000 BC, a little bit later, I should put this up here, BCE, before the Common Era. There we go, before the Common Era. We start seeing the angels, or what they call genies and jinns, with 4 wings. They have the 4 wings, okay? Now that's interesting, and when we get into the realms of angels, and we talk more next week about the realms of angels, you'll see that the closer the angels get to the divine creator, the less body they have and the more wing they have. Okay? The wing is the energy area around them, pretty much. It's that we perceive their energy field around them as wings. Okay? Now, if you go into Asian culture, you'll also see images that can be perceived by those people. They were perceived as deities or gods and goddesses. You know, in Hinduism, they say it's the religion of 330 million gods. That's not true, actually. They believe that there is one creator. They are a monotheistic religion. They believe in Brahman. However, all of the aspects of Brahman's personality have these little gods and goddesses. So rather than talk about them sort of just in a thought process or an esoteric way, they give them a body. One of the bodies that they give them is called Lakshmi. Now, Lakshmi is a beautiful woman. I have a curtain of Lakshmi hanging in my bedroom. And in the morning light, I get to see the light come through Lakshmi. And she has 4 arms, 2 up and 2 down. She is embracing the day and knowledge, and she is pouring out compassion and good fortune. In my mind, this is an angel, okay, bringing us knowledge and compassion, not only for ourselves, but for the world, okay? Now, when you get into, we're going to jump a little further ahead, not so long ago, maybe 1,000 years ago, and you get into the Euro-pagan religions, and those people, they had the Norse gods, like the Valkyries, for instance, large Amazonian type women with horns or often wings on their head and large wings, and they came from the sky and they rode through the sky and they were protecting them. We go down into Greece around the same time and we see that they have Hermes. Rome had Mercury, same deity. Now, Hermes was a messenger taking messages to God, to Mount Olympus, and bringing prayers back and forth. Okay? So, really it's the same concept, but angels appear to who they need to appear to, when they need to appear, in a way that that person needs them and can understand them. So I think that's what I really wanted to share with you tonight on the first night that we're together, is that our angels are all around us, and your angels are your own, and they're personal to you. And if you think that your angel looks like a 4'5" guy with long purple hair, right on. If your angel is a 10-foot tall woman with beautiful glowing red hair, awesome for you. There are particular archangels that we'll talk about that have very particular appearances in our modern world. So when I talk about our modern world, I'm really talking about the time of Christ. Okay? And I think it's important here to note that we're going to do a little bit of Bible study, okay? But when we think about the time of Christ, how often have you heard of the story where Christ was on his knees in the Garden of Gethsemane and an angel was there with him? protecting him and comforting him. Not telling him what to do, but just there. How often have we heard the stories of Christ hanging on a cross? And, well, you could call down a legion of angels if you wanted to. Yes, absolutely could. Chose not to, because human beings have free will. And Christ was God in the human body with the free will to make the decision. And these angels are not just with us. These angels are with everyone. Okay? Questions?
Yes. Patty would like for you to define a little further what you mean by time of Christ.
Well, okay, so we're looking at, let me get another color. We're looking at right now, this is the year, sorry, I've got to get thicker chalk. This is the year 2017, okay? So we're looking at about 2,000 years ago as the time of Christ, okay?
So,
About that time.
So when Jesus is walking on the
Jesus is walking on the earth. Now, tonight's study, who has a Bible with him? I knew Miss Connie would have a Bible with him. Let's go to Genesis. Oh, golly, I'm going to think it's...
We've got some Bibles over there.
Is it chapter 7, where we see Abraham meeting the three strangers? I'm thinking, I can't remember, but I think it's about chapter 7 where we see Abraham meeting the three strangers. We're going to talk about that just a little bit if we can get our pages to not stick together. Am I right?
Noah,
Oh no, it would be after that.
after that.
Here, I'll walk over here. Any other questions? No? No? Okay.
Abraham took another wife.
Yeah, this was right when the strangers came to tell Abraham that, well, first of all, one of them came and said, your wife is going to have a baby. Okay. Now, this is trippy because Abraham's like a seriously old guy. Okay. He's like a seriously old guy. And his wife, seriously old gal. She's tired. She's worn out, and she has not had any children yet, so the chances are she's not having any. One of the angels, as he tells this to Abraham, he hears in the tent, hears Sarai laughing to herself. She giggles to herself. She doesn't even say it out loud, and the angel hears her. Okay? And then later comes to her and says, why'd you laugh about that? She's like, oh, I didn't laugh. And the angel's like, I know you laughed, but God can do anything. And sure enough, very shortly afterwards, she has a child. The other two angels went to Abraham and told him what was going to happen at Sodom and Gomorrah. And at that point, they brought the message and power of God to the earth to cleanse the earth of what was happening in Sodom and Gomorrah. That's a whole nother story, though.
I found that one.
Here, may I?
You may.
Okay. Let's see. Come on, somebody ask another question as I look for it, because I know it's here. Oh, we're getting closer. There's Abraham.
Hey,
Oh,
this
I
might-
found it. Yes.
Never mind.
No, go ahead and ask.
No, it's not really a question. I was just going to ask you about in the New Testament when I don't even remember who it was, if it was Paul or if it was powers, principalities, that they have realms. There's powers
Yes.
and principalities.
Yes, there are different realms of the angels, and that's what we're going to talk about all next week, is learn all the different realms. There are 9 realms of angels, and this is study that has been done by many biblical scholars over the last 2,000 years. Not just Christian scholars, but Hebrew scholars as well have built upon these thoughts of the realms of angels. We hear these thoughts because the angels want us to know, because God wants us to understand that we're not alone in all of this. We are being taken care of. Part of the powers are one line, the principalities. Actually, it's the angels with us, the archangels around us, then the principalities above them. And then there are 6 other levels above that. So. Okay, this is chapter 18 in Genesis. And I want you to think about the word hospitality and what hospitality means. Hospitality means welcoming in. Okay? And like I said, your angels are all around you, but they're not going to do anything. They will not be there for you unless you welcome them into your life and ask them to be there for you. Now the Lord appeared to him, being Abraham, by the oaks of Mamre, while he was sitting at the tent door. Remember, he's a little old guy, right? In the heat of the day. Ugh. Right? When he lifted up his eyes and looked, behold, 3 men were standing opposite him. Now, behold, 3 men were standing opposite him. They weren't just like cruising on up, hey dude, what's going on? They simply appeared to him. Okay? And when he saw them, he ran to the tent door to meet them and bowed himself low to the earth and said, my Lord, if I have found favor in your sight, please do not pass your servant by. Now, it's important to understand that in the Middle East, nothing is more important than the concept of hospitality. When you live in a desert region, someone coming by and needing water or needing a little food, that means their life, okay? So we understand that they exchange this hospitality with one another, whether they know each other or not, because they need to be able to survive. Please, let a little water be brought and wash your feet, and rest yourselves under this tree. And I will bring a piece of bread, that you may refresh yourselves. And after that you may go, since you have visited your servant. And they said to him, go, do as you've said. Okay, so now you say you're going to welcome us in. Let's see it happen. Don't just talk. Talk's cheap. Let's see it happen. So Abraham hurried to the tent to Sarai and said, quickly, prepare 3 measures of your finest flour and knead it to make bread cakes. Abraham then ran to the herd, and he took a tender and choice calf, and he gave it to a servant, and he hurried to prepare it. He took curds of milk and the calf which he had prepared, and he placed it before them in a feast. And he was standing by them under the tree as they ate. So he took the best that he had, he gave to the strangers. He stood to the side, and he allowed them to enjoy. Okay? The concept of hospitality. It's not about me sitting down with you and telling you my life story. It's about you being refreshed, cared for, comforted. Abraham shows that hospitality to these 3 people that he's never met, and he doesn't really know who they are. Okay? And then they said to him, where is Sarah, your wife? And he said, she's over there in the tent, in the back, where women belong in those days. He said, I will surely return to you. And the man said to him, I will surely return to you at the same time next year, and behold, your wife Sarah will have a son. And Sarah was listening in the tent door behind him, and she laughed. Now Abraham and Sarah were old, advanced in age, and Sarah was way past childbearing. And she laughed to herself, saying, have I become so old? Shall I pleasure my Lord being old also? And the Lord said to Abraham, why did Sarah laugh? Saying, indeed, I shall bear a child when I am so old. Is anything too difficult for the Lord? At the appointed time I will return to you, at this time next year, and Sarah will have a son. Thank you. So we see that hospitality is key. It's important. Welcoming in, giving your best, offering the best you have, yourself. God wants nothing from you other than you. Okay, because like we haven't got anything that he doesn't already have. So all he wants is our heart, our free will, our choice to come to him. And to do that, we have the angels that will help us and assist us to do that. Now, your angels can be there for you, and I'm not kidding you. I'm just telling you the truth. You try this. Angels, I really need a good parking space near the door. It works. When you welcome in your angels and you have ongoing conversation with them, and you ask them to lift your prayers for you on a regular basis, they're there for you on a regular basis for the little things that seem impossible. But nothing is impossible for spirit. Okay? So I'm not sure what time it is, but I think it's time for any questions? Okay.
Wait, I
Yes?
want to ask one thing. I
Okay.
hope it doesn't get off, and I hope it's not out of line.
Nothing
But-
is.
Okay, so one of the concepts that I've heard a lot of people struggle with, I've struggled with myself, has been like the interaction between what feels like different realms.
Yes.
So like if the angels are existing with God, you know, like Abraham fed them, they ate and drank. And Jesus talks about when we're with him again that we will eat and drink. How, like, so the angels can exist in all places?
Yes.
Yes.
Angels are omnipresent.
Okay.
They are not omnipotent. Only God is omnipotent, all powerful. Omnipresent is all places, all times, at one time. Now this gets a little bendy, but you know, we had scientists 100 years ago proposing that the space-time continuum did not really exist, that there was no linear space and time. Okay? They were proposing 100 years ago that everything could take place everywhere at the same time. We have scientists now starting to prove those theories. Now, basically what they're trying to prove is, does God really exist the way that we believe God exists? That's what all those astrophysicist types are looking for. And here's what I had to say about that. I believe, and this is my belief only, that the angels are everywhere with everyone all the time. They have the ability to appear to each of us in the way that we need them when we need them. You may have, you could have a kitten that comes to you and rubs on your leg one day and soothes your soul, and that cat's never back again. Was that an angel? Maybe there's a little old lady at the grocery store who stops to talk to you for no reason and shares a moment with you, and you get emotional and you allow something out and she shares with you, and all of a sudden she's gone, you don't know where she's at, but you feel better. Is that an angel? Angels can appear as children. Dale Evans, Roy Rogers and Dale Evans. Dale Evans wrote a book many, many years ago called Angel Unaware, about a child that they had that had Down syndrome and passed away very young, and how that they believed in their spiritual life that this child was not taken from them, but was rather given as a gift for a period of time, an angel in their midst. So, I feel that, yes, the angels can be there having a meal with you, or they can be present without you seeing them. Angels can appear as feathers falling from the ground, You just you go out, Sarah tells me all the time, you got a feather on you. And I do. I have little white feathers on me all the time. Now, they can appear as a wind that blows, a refreshing moment. You might see a glimmer of light and you look and there's nothing there, but you know in your soul that there was a moment there. Okay? So as we get more in tune with our angels, we will come to recognize them more in our life. So the challenge, any other questions?
Yep.
Okay,
This
question.
one's from online. So Patty wants a little more clarification on the angels as messengers. So her question is, do we pray to the angels for them to take the message on to God, or do we still pray to God and they take?
Well, that's a good question. Many people think, you can't pray to angels because then you're elevating them into a God status. The word pray means to beg or beseech. Okay? So when we say, I pray to God, all you're saying is, I'm talking to God in a really fervent manner. I'm begging God. I'm beseeching God. So in those terms, you can talk to your angels and ask them to do things for you, to carry a message for you. For instance, Archangel Michael, and we're going to use Archangel Michael tonight in our, we're going to do just a little brief thing so I can teach you a little bit about how to use, how to talk to the angels a little bit. Archangel Michael is our great protector. We've all seen the image of Michael standing on the head of the enemy. And I love this, you know, this big, huge, powerful, muscle-rippling angel with wings that are just magnificent, holding a sword. Well, you know, he can use that sword for a lot of things, right? So we're going to learn how to cut the cords of all that binds us.
Yay.
Okay? And all we have to do is ask him to do that. So we're going to do that in our meditation when I do the guided meditation with you in a minute. And as I guide you through meditation about connecting with the angels and feeling the angels and asking Archangel Michael in with us, okay? I want you to think about Michael in any terms that you want. Maybe he has a peach-faced boy look to you. I don't know. Whatever. I know what Michael looks like to me and what I feel. I feel small and protected. I grew up in a home that was full of chaos and full of anger and full of a lot of confusion. And when I was with my angels, I felt those wings around me, protecting me the whole time. And when I look back on my life and I think about the things that I've lived through, dear God in heaven, thank you. I only could have lived through them by the wings of an angel protecting me. So what I'd like to do is challenge you. So here's your challenge for the week. I want you to think about what it means to be welcoming. What is hospitality? How can you every day welcome in your angels? Spend time in prayer and meditation. Prayer is with you sending your messages to God. Meditation is allowing your mind to become calm and the messages from God to come in. Okay? And if you can do 1 minute of meditation, excellent. If you can do 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 20 minutes twice a day, whatever works for you, the longer you practice meditation techniques, and we're going to do different meditation techniques over the next few weeks. But tonight we're going to just do a guided meditation, and then we're going to listen to some music. And it's a piece of music called A Night with the Angels. And so when you hear this music, I want you to think about the angels around you. That's all. Just what does it feel like? What do they look like? Okay? So, Patty, I know you're there, and I want you to practice with us, okay? So I'm trusting that you will close your eyes and that you will enjoy this moment with us. So remember your challenge this week. Oh, start journaling. Start journaling your messages. If you have a message to God and you're asking an angel, write it down. Okay? If you feel like you're receiving a message or a moment, write it down. Then you can come back to it later and review how you've been growing in your connection to Spirit. This whole program is designed to help you, help me, help us as a group grow closer in Spirit. Okay? More questions? Okay. Everybody get comfortable. Shake it off. Shake off all that tension. Okay. I'm going to take my eyeglasses off. And I hope this isn't too much, Patty. But I'm going to dim the light just a little bit.
That's good.
Okay. So we're going to do just a few moments of guided meditation. Close your eyes. You can leave them open if you like. I like to close mine. I'd like you to take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Breathe in love. Exhale tension. Breathe in love. Exhale fear. Release, just release. Feel the breath in your body. Just relax and release. And as you're sitting in your moment, in your mind's eye, you can see the angels above you, below you, in front and behind. The angels on each side and all around. You're completely encircled, encased, supported by angel energy and love. And as far as you can see out into the distance, there are these angels, and they're all looking at you with love, unconditional, unreserved love, the love of your God, your Creator, your Divine Father, your Divine Mother, loving you unconditionally, the way a brand new parent looks at a brand new baby. Nothing but immensely comforting love. And at this moment, I'd like you to think to yourselves. You can say it out loud if you wish, but in your heart is fine. I welcome in my angels. I ask you to be with me. I thank you for being with me. Thank you for helping me, teaching me, guiding me, supporting me, and showing me the divine love that I was created to feel. Now we're going to meet one of the most powerful of all the angels, Archangel Michael. In my mind, Archangel Michael is huge. He's way bigger than I am. And he is an absolute epitome of what a human being should be. His body is strong and muscular. His hands are firm. His feet are solid. His face is calm and full of amazing compassion. His eyes will melt you with love the moment you look at them. His wings are so broad and golden, the golden light of Creator coming to you and all around you. And as Archangel Michael stands next to you and he wraps his wing around you, with his other hand he grabs the mighty golden sword. And as he wields it above his head, encircling his head all around you and all around him, because remember, you're under his wing, he is cutting the cords of all the negative that binds you. And I want you to say out loud, Archangel Michael,
Archangel Michael,
cut the cords that bind me.
Cut the cords that bind me.
Release me from the negativity of this world.
Release me from the negativity of this world.
Now I challenge you, my dear friends, every morning to start your day with gratitude. Thank you, dear God, for letting me be alive in this world. Thank you, angels, for being here with me. And thank you, Archangel Michael, for cutting the cords of all the negative that binds me. Now we're going to have just a couple of moments of silent meditation where you begin to feel in every moment of your body, every little minuscule of you, the love of the divine Creator coming through the angels in every aspect all around you. Just feel it. There's nothing held back. It's just love. There's no condition. There's nothing that can stop this love, that can contain this love. It's so overwhelming. You feel it in your skin. feel it in your breath. The breath of life comes from Creator. And with each breath, you're breathing in this love. Breathe in love. Exhale fear. The fear that holds us back from truly connecting with Spirit. What if someone thought something about us? What if someone said something about us? What if someone looked at us funny, said something weird? What if they thought we were weird? Let go of the what ifs. Shake them off. Breathe in the love. Just feel the immense energy all around you, holding you up in a sphere, releasing yourself from this human form and allowing your spirit to connect with Spirit. Thank you all so much for being here and sharing this with me. Thank you for being here with us, Patty, and sharing with us.
And Sabrina.
And Sabrina.
And Pat.
And Pat. And whoever else is there, I don't know.
And Marie.
Oh, hi, Marie.
Hi, Marie.
And
Okay.
Micah. We
Now,
have
next
a nice
week-
little audience.
Oh, wonderful. Next week, we are going to talk about the realms of the angels. We're going to learn all 9 realms of the angels. We're going to meet the major archangels. And we're going to learn a meditation to get to know our own personal guardian angel. Okay? So next week, come prepared to just let go and receive. Thank you. And so it is.